Kia ora guys, and welcome to another episode of Against the Grain, a little project I've been putting together for the month of Movember to catch up with friends and family and take a chance to check in and start normalizing the conversations around mental health and well-being, especially with us men. Like I said, it's for the month of Movember. As you can see, it's coming along quite nicely. But if you want, you can head over to my MoSpace and any donations you're able to give will be greatly appreciated. Every little bit helps. Today on the show, we have a man I met in the theatre and have been lucky enough to create some awesome shows together, whether we're working in different areas of the theatre, but it is always a great honour. It is the talented and brilliant Andrew Gordon.
Kia ora, Reese. Kia ora whanau. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you for coming on. How's things going?
Yeah, good. I've been fortunate enough to be quite busy of late, especially in the performing arts. As I mentioned to you before, I've kind of been spending a lot of my time both at the theatre in my role of producing and directing, but also for my day job, I work with a national arts organisation in and around education and outreach. And we are in a very, very fortunate position that we can still do live performances, productions. However, in saying that, with the year that we've had and all the challenges it has brought, it's brought on the challenge that a lot of us that are able to put on productions, everything's kind of being condensed into a shorter period, which has made things, just a bit more challenging, but one that, as I said earlier, I don't take for granted, especially considering everybody else in the context of things in the world and who aren't able to do the things that we're doing currently. So it's been good.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely been a hit for the arts, if not anything, this year. You mentioned what you do for your day job. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I work for New Zealand Opera, and I'm in their what we're now known as the participation department.
Right.
And a lot of my work involves like contact with schools and community groups, and basically promoting the art form of opera. But for me personally, it's also promoting the arts in general. I've been a massive advocate for arts education. And especially nowadays, there isn't actually a lot of opportunities. They're becoming less frequent. There's more emphasis on other kind of subjects within school. I'm not taking away from those, but I still believe the value of the arts, and especially performing arts, being able to interact with others and be able to, perform, whether it's musically or vocally. And the awesome thing about my work is also I don't just highlight the what occurs on stage, but it's all the various elements. One quote I draw upon is a tenor by the name of James Benjamin Rogers. He said that the great thing about opera is it encompasses all the unique and fantastic elements of performing arts. You've got singing, acting, dancing, you've got orchestral music, you've got lighting, stage design, you've got all the fantastic backstage crew, everything that encompasses performing arts, and it's brought to life for the people on stage, and it's just a wonderful thing to be able to showcase and bring people into. And so yeah, my job is to highlight those wonderful things and get them along and to see a performing arts production.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think one of the best things people can do is take a backstage tour of any theatre, no matter how big or small it is, just to see all the little cogs moving on. I mean, me and you, we know it because we've grown up with it, but it's just so amazing how much work goes into every production, no matter what it is. So is that focused on schools you're going to? people coming in
A
from
lot of
high
my
schools,
work
or?
does involve with schools, but we also engage with community groups, and primarily for me, because I'm based in Auckland and around Auckland, and it's finding what people's might be their questions in regards to opera, they might their curiosity, and any particular aspect. It's not just the voice. And see that, and that's the kind of misconception we're trying to kind of break. Is it's when you think of opera, yes, it's the beautiful classical music that is created, and it's the singing of the unamplified voice.
Yeah,
But it's also been, as I said, been able to highlight all the other aspects and avenues, and showcasing that just because you might not have a talent within being on stage and performing, you might have another talent that can align with being involved.
for
Again,
sure.
we've said it's construction, set construction, designing, sound design, lighting. If you want to play an instrument, or you want to management, being involved with the backstage crew, it's all these wonderful things that people actually can have an avenue and turn it into a career if they choose to.
For sure. And like you said, you've been involved in theatre for a while as well. When did you start getting involved? Was it from a young age, or was it later on?
Yeah, I was. So I started on the stage when I was. My first stage experience was when I was 9 years of age at school.
Yeah.
Cast into a production. I think I played an orphan boy in something, and yeah, I was hooked. It was. I don't remember the entire play, but I remember the moment in which I had like one or two lines. And I stepped out, and I could see not so much everybody's face, but I could sense the presence of the audience looking back at me, because I was kind of blinded slightly by the lights, but I knew they were there. And then the reaction they got with some of my lines, and yeah, it was very kind of surreal moment that you just take in and you kind of became hooked onto. So yeah, that was many years ago.
Do you think it was a pivotal moment for, like you said, you're a 9-year-old. There's a million things going on in a 9-year-old's head, and you still got high school to go to and all that stuff. But do you think that was one of those turns in the road that just set you onto the theatrical course?
Yeah, I think so. There were looking back, there were always moments beforehand that I'd engaged in kind of like dramatic scenes in primary school and speech competitions, and I was I did all right in those. I guess if I had like a script in front of me, I was able to I had the confidence to perform it or speak and that. But I was stereotypically a shy child. I never wasn't very good at like trying to automatically make friends or put myself forward. But I found that with the performing arts and the rehearsal and being able to, within your own kind of safe little bubble, being able to practice to make it proficient, that I was able to, present something and then get that reaction. It was definitely, a big moment in my life, and one that, I always remember.
Yeah, that's great. And I guess what I was more leaning towards is we obviously didn't have these kind of programs that you are running now when we were going through school. So what kept the drive going? Especially when you hit the teen years and things get very judgmental amongst peers and stuff. Like you said, you were maybe a bit more of a shy person. What drove drove to keep stubbornness? Yeah.
Yeah, stubbornness, and I guess in a way I I try not to. I like having real like unique experiences,
Sure.
and I think with the acting and I suppose at a younger level, the make believe and being able to kind of go into different worlds and take on different feelings, different emotions, and being able to like have different experiences. And you had those within kind of a somewhat safe environment, you know, you're with your peers and with teachers and tutors and stuff that are helping guide you, and you're able to do that. And yeah, I love having new experiences and being able to the theatre and the world of make believe, and in a sense, it allows to help facilitate that.
Absolutely. And I think I found that as well, both on stage and off stage. I started moving more into off stage after I left high school, when I went to start studying sound design and so on, and discovering that whole world of how all the cogs move. But I think one of the big things for me being involved in the theatre, whether when I say the theatre, I'm not meaning a specific one, it's kind of the general whatever's around, is it puts it forward, and it sounds cliche, but it's a second family, I found.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Um,
You're with people, like-minded people, people who share your same passion, your same interests, and yeah, you all want yourselves. You want everybody to succeed. You know, I look at theatre very much as a team sport.
hmm,
You know, in a very kind of sports mad country. And don't get me wrong, I don't bag that for a moment, you know, because I'm keen sports admirer. I wouldn't say keen sportsman, but sports admirer. You know, I love watching rugby, basketball,
yeah,
and, you know, anything that the Kiwis are playing. However, it was a few years ago, or when I was in my late teens, I was able to analyze it, and I kind of looked at it, and you're working with a team. You've all got your different roles, different parts, and without each other, you wouldn't working towards the same goal. Is you wouldn't be able to get to that end point without each other. People look at, you know, maybe they think, oh, acting or actors, and they think maybe one or two particular actors who might be their favorite, and they look at them as the individual, but they haven't been able to achieve
yeah.
that kind of, let's say, for example, celebrity or being well known without the efforts of a whole bunch of other people. And so, yeah, as you know, being in the theatre, we're all various parts to one machine, such as, you know, for the analogy of a rugby team. And we wouldn't be able to achieve the goals of putting on a production without each other.
Exactly. And especially being involved with starting out in amateur theatre,
Mm.
I found that, you went to, what was it, 3 or so rehearsals a week, and then you did a couple of weeks run of a show every night almost.
Yeah.
You're spending a lot of time with these people, but B, no one's being paid to be there. It's not a
Yeah.
job. It is a commitment, but I feel like you all know you're there because you love it. And something that I found great through a lot of times, whether they, were big or small things going on in my life, it's kind of like if I go to the theatre, everyone wants me to be at my best so they can look at their best, which sounds selfish, but it's not. It's if everyone thinks that, you all bring each other up, I've found.
Yeah, exactly. You're wanting to be able to contribute to in essence, what is the greater being than ourselves, which is the performance, which is telling the story, and being able to give that to the audience, who are, it's a reciprocal relationship. You're giving of yourself, and they're opening themselves to be able to take on the energy and the life and the story that you're giving them. So it's for everybody, it's quite a vulnerable element to being inside the theatre in a performance.
And have you found that exposing those vulnerabilities has been, I don't know what the right word is, refreshing sometimes, or has it been challenging?
I think it's, yeah, definitely both. The challenging part is exploring those vulnerabilities in rehearsal, and exploring characters and themes and trying to find the truth to not only the character but the story as well. And yeah, there's an element you go through. I think you go through various stages of exploration with that, because you have the start of the rehearsal process. So from the viewpoint of an actor, you may be starting a production with a completely new bunch of people.
Yeah.
So you have to go through the process of being comfortable, opening up, creating a safe environment, creating safe relationships.
And I guess
And once that,
just even quickly on that point, sometimes we're talking 3 months from beginning to end, that you're meeting these strangers to you're going on stage and you trust them completely, or you hope so.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so you kind of go through, it's almost like a two-pronged being in a way, in that you spend your time in this bubble and you create the safe environment, and you've got everybody's trust, and you're not only do you trust them with your vulnerabilities and everything, but they've entrusted them with you and taken on the respect of that. And then you get into opening night, and it's kind of starting all over again, but in a very short time frame. You know, you've done like 2 months of rehearsal, and now you've got 2 hours to kind of go through that journey again.
Yeah.
But the great thing is, with everybody within the community, especially in community theatre, I find is you've got people there that are so supportive and responsive, and they're always wanting you to be of your best. It's a funny thing, if I might just kind of like jump a bit, but going from on stage to behind the scenes as a director, you remember going in like auditioning and just like totally like panicking or having these anxieties. You're like, they're not going to like me, or that, I might say the wrong thing, and then they just don't want to have anything to do with me. And then you be on the audition panel as a director, and it may not seem like it, but you're sending out the most amazing, like, best vibes. You're just like, I want you to be the best that you can be. And it's not for me, it's for you.
Yeah.
I want you to just give me what you can. And you wish you could kind of say that, but it really, it's probably, maybe I should. You say to them, give them your best and all that, but it's a deeper kind of sense of well-being and wanting them to do their best, and because you want to find out their ultimate abilities, so you can take that on and harness it to grow it into this performance.
Do you think having gone through, I guess it's not climbing the ladder, but having been on stage and then going to directing, have you found that that's helped connect more with your actors when you're producing something?
I think so. I'm still very much learning as a director. I think that for me, you talk about climbing the ladder. It's more, I like to think, at least at the moment, it's more lateral. I'm jumping from one to the next to the next.
For sure.
Because I've also, I'm wanting to get a holistic experience with the theatre. So yeah, directing has allowed me to help oversee and manage. But I've also done sound design, operating, helped in props and wardrobe and decor. And I think that allows me to get a greater sense of being a director, because then you know what everybody's capabilities are. Maybe potentially limits, not so much on them as like a person, but just on the scale of things. You have ideas and you have visions, but then you have to be like, okay, what's the reality here?
Yes.
And for me, I think it gives me confidence in when I'm, relaying instructions or giving notes, especially to begin with, coming from the actor's point of view. Then I'm able to communicate and articulate what it is that I would like to shape and to mold, and the vision that I'm trying to come across. And again, that's why I've also taken on other positions within the theatre, is to find out what they all are about and what they're capable of, and it's all endless. But it's just it's just being mindful of being able to manage it all, and making sure also that everybody's having a great time.
For sure. And especially with that, stepping into a director role and also having that feel of community theatre, and I guess your job is still involved in the performing arts, but do you think all those theatre experiences have bled into your other parts of your life? Have they helped?
Yeah, for sure. You've not only it's confidence, it's I guess it's, for me, being able to be within the performing arts that's what I identify with. Mm-hmm. That's me being able to be true to myself.
Yeah.
And so you take that out of the theatre, I am me. And it's made me a more rounded person, I like to think.
Do you think being in the theatre, you said that's what you identify with, do you think that's helped solidify that kind of thought process personally? That you're like, yeah, this is what I love and this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah. And it's not an easy journey. I don't speak for everybody. I just mean because when you're growing up and people asking, you get that inevitable question, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And you say, I want to be an actor. And there's the kind of first thing of like, oh, that's just absolutely silly. And the other aspect is, oh, you're not going to make any money.
Right. And did you get this personally?
Yeah, no, I got it personally. One of them that stuck with me was I was considering being a drama teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying this to a couple of teachers. I was on holiday somewhere, and they were like, why do you want to do that? There's no money in teaching, and especially with drama and the performing arts. I was absolutely gobsmacked. And I was like 12.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? But I quickly realized that the money wasn't an aspect that, don't get me wrong. I mean, we all like to, have the security and
of course,
also be able to buy nice things on odd occasions. But I think for me, I just weighed it up. It was, could I live without it? And the answer was no.
Yeah.
And also,
I was going to say, was there a point in going, yeah, this is, like you said, can I live without it? Rather than coming to realization over years of, some people end up doing something like, I'm just using it as an example, but a desk job. And then after 10 years, they go, no, I always wanted to rock climb. And then they start. But it sounds like from the get-go, you were pretty persistent about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of swayed in ebbs and flows. Don't get me wrong, because it's dependent on work and availability and so forth. And for the last 5 years, and that I have been working on kind of the backstage sort of aspect. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of admin involved.
Of course.
No matter, everybody's, there's admin.
You can never escape it.
But I think for me, it was just a case of going, I need to be involved in this environment. And also I came to the realization one day that if money was never an issue, would I still be doing what I was doing? Or what would you want to do if you didn't have to like worry about money? It's like, well, I'd be in the performing arts.
For sure.
I would be either acting or directing or something, and that's it. I'm still on my journey because people keep on asking me, well, what is it you actually do? Are you an actor? Are you a director? I'm like, well, no. At the moment, I've been focusing a lot on directing, but I wouldn't call myself a director. I'm not a noun, I'm not a thing. I'm a person who loves to experience. And this is the great way to be able to experience, all these different worlds and emotions and characters and stories.
Absolutely. And it's great that you can kind of acknowledge that it's not an end point. It's not a, yes, this is what I am, and that's it. It's kind of like, okay, well, I guess it can mold into this later, or in 2 years, I might completely change course and go after something else that I pursue, whether it be backstage or directing or
exactly
acting. So here'll be a tough one. Without involving the theatre, what is a I guess the way to put it is, what does a good mental state look for you? What is mental health going on the green light look for you? Are you busy? Are you relaxing? Are you just personally? What's a good state for you?
For me personally, a good state is where I am, I guess, in control. I wouldn't call myself a control freak, but I've got things, pretty in control, or
Okay.
I'm aware of the situation. To the annoyance of my partner, I'm not I'm an active relaxer. I can't just sit at home and I watch TV and I can chill and stuff, but I can't do it for a couple of nights on end. Or
Right.
sometimes I'm just right. What's the next thing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess for me, it's being able to making sure that there aren't any kind of surprises coming up, or being able to plan for any unexpected surprises.
Sure.
So for me, that's when I'm directing, and it's making sure I have a proper plan and everything. Kind of, I can foresee any possible issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now to curveball that, when things aren't going your way or you lose control, whether it be something that you've done or just completely out of your hands, how do you deal with that? If it's as low as a shitty day at work, or if it's a bigger thing that is going on in life, do you have ways that you address problems?
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation.
Of course.
If it's manageable, and I think I've kind of slightly got the I've kind of still got it on slightly control. I'll talk about it, but a lot of it I probably internalize a lot of things. So I'll go silent, and just because I think I want to try and figure out myself.
I was going to say, is that I'll put it on the shelf and try and tick that off on a to-do list myself first.
Yeah, well, it's definitely myself. I want to be the one who's able to figure it out, or at least try to figure out myself.
Right.
And I think it's more because I just don't want to burden anybody with anything, which I know it goes against what we're trying to develop. And I have been a bit more vocal and everything, but I do, sometimes when it's kind of big, and also the aspect of responsibility. If I feel as if the responsibility is mine and mine alone, then I'll deal with it.
Right.
As best that I can, but sometimes that means just having to kind of check out of the situation. It could be at dinner or with friends and dealing with and kind of just in that environment. But on the other end, I'm also internally processing things and checking out.
Right.
And which means it isn't the greatest thing, because it takes you out of the moment, out of the present.
It does, and I find that as well as you try and deal with it, and it's the classic thing of one, two, three things build up, and then you're constantly thinking about that.
Yeah.
Do you think it has got in the way of things, and how do you think it could be easier to, I guess, share the load for a better use of a better term?
Um, yeah, I think, yeah, it's talking, it's communication. It is. And also addressing it earlier rather than later.
Right,
And that's probably different for everybody in a sense. But I
of
mean,
course.
it's just more um, things can snowball a lot quicker and easier if you if you don't if you don't kind of talk with somebody, because it's the age old saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. Um,
Yep.
and I also like the one off the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movie. Newt Scamander says, I'm paraphrasing, but I try not to worry about things because worry means you have to deal with it twice, you know?
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's true in a way. If you worry about it and you're thinking about it and it does occur, so sometimes most likely it's not going to occur. But
Right.
then if it does, then it's twice, and it's like, well, why bother? Chances are it's not going to happen. So, but
For
yeah,
sure.
it's
And do you find do you have a whether it be a group or a select few people or one or two people that you can talk to about things? And do you find it easy to start those conversations, or is it kind of sometimes I feel that I will go to someone and say, "Hey, anything up?" and try and get them to start something, and if they so happen to ask me, then I'll let in on what's going on in my head. But it's like that taking care of others kind of steps forward all the time or a bit too often.
uh, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm as kind of as tactful as that, is kind of trying to preempt anything. Because again, I wouldn't want to be. I would kind of feel self conscious that you know, I'm looking, and yeah, I guess in a way, yeah, I wouldn't want to put myself forward as much. But I think I've gotten a bit more. I've taken down the barriers a bit more, and so if an opportunity does present itself, I might. I would tentatively see where it is. Maybe kind of discuss one particular aspect of the issue at hand, and then build on bit by bit, just to see where it gets to. Which I fully am aware is can be slightly I won't say counterproductive, but it's not. You're only holding yourself back.
Right.
But yeah, in terms of I've got my partner. We're pretty open about things, and some friends, but no, I'm not I wouldn't go straight away into talking about particular issues. But it is something. But I know over the last couple of years, though, I have gotten a lot better at communicating things. That it might
What do you
be.
think has helped that? What has grown the communication? Is it just exposure to these people, or is it something in particular that you've made the group aware of? Hey guys, let's be more comfortable talking
No,
about this
I
kind of
think
stuff.
it's more. I think it's more socially within the wider aspect of the modern world and in New Zealand, and talking about mental health, and especially amongst men, um, and knowing that it's okay to speak up about various things. And I think when you hear of other scenarios and examples, especially maybe a lot of the time it's sports stars, because they typify masculinity and what it means to be a man, which we know now is complete bollocks. Everybody is all different, and we all come in different shapes and sizes, and different people and who we are. But I think it's still been a great way to kind of break down those stereotypes and that. And then you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, if they're saying it's okay, then I think, I do too. But I also believe it's not something that's going to just happen overnight. And so we all collectively, as you're doing with this fantastic project, is doing it bit by bit.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Is just there's no one solution. And over the talks, we're nearing the end of the month now. I've been lucky enough to talk to a whole bunch of different people and a different range of people as well.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think I've brought it up before as well is, and it kind of ties in with the theatre, is being seen as an outgoing on stage acting out person. It's almost not expected, but of course they'll be comfortable saying something. And I found being put in that box almost has made it a little bit harder to talk about some stuff, because again, you're going, I don't want to draw the attention to me because, I don't have a script in my hand. I'm not on stage. I don't know if you found something similar, but that's just something I've found.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting that a lot of people, you hear of when famous actors say, oh, I was very shy, or I'm still shy. And people are like, oh, yeah, right, they're not shy. It's like, well, actually, no, they are. And I remember a case of in drama class at university, we presented, there was a mixed class of an arts class, English and English drama majors. And we're doing a paper, and the lecturer we had to get up and just say something a bit about ourselves. And it was quite interesting to know that in comparison, the drama students, in comparison to the English lit students, the drama students were the ones that had the most awkwardness.
Right, interesting.
In presenting themselves. They were like, because at that moment you felt vulnerable.
And just yourself.
Because then you've got, for a lot of people, it's the costumes, it's the accents, or the stage lights, or the sets, and putting themselves somewhere else, and they're able to. But I think then when you're exposing yourself to various different scenarios, you then have that experience to then take yourself into the wide world, and you kind of have a preparation for scenarios that present themselves.
Yes.
That's why, getting kids into drama, or, speech and drama classes and those kind of things, is because you're actually able to expose them to situations and scenarios that they might not have been involved with, but most likely will be in the future, and they know how to conduct themselves and be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And just even that story reminds me of when I was at uni as well, doing sound design and stuff. And I guess it's an icebreaker that the lectures do every year. But they said, all right, next week I want everyone to bring in their favorite song, and we're going to play it to the class. And everyone thought, sure, okay, it's my favorite song. That's an easy topic to pick. And the next week came around, and they're like, cool, all right, first person go up, play it over the big speakers. The whole class is going to listen. And that's when everyone went, oh, but this is my favorite song. And now I'm telling everyone it's my favorite song and playing it to them, and they're going to sit there and listen to it. Yeah. It just kind of almost exposed you as like this song is representing me. And it was just such an interesting thing to go through, and how everyone quickly went back on themselves and went, this is my favorite song this year because normally I'm into this. And they started picking different things of, well, how do I fit in a bit better?
And I think they're going to judge you personally for the choices that you've made. And it shouldn't be that way. You should be free to choose what you want to listen to.
Exactly. What you want to listen to, what you want to do in life, whether it be accounting or producing or whatever. I think, just hearing you say it as well, that, your stubbornness kept you in it, and it's resulted in, you enjoying what you do, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And having these awesome experiences as well. which I can honestly say I don't think I would have gotten anywhere else. So it's the other little gems. Everybody, you might have some kind of some days where you're just having to trudge on through and get through the nitty gritty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take a step back and I remember all the abundance of fantastic opportunities and experiences and people I get to experience with. That's the main thing, people. That's the beauty of the arts. It's people and who we are and expressing our individuality, but also our togetherness. It's
definitely quite something connecting and hearing stories and all that stuff. And yeah, I think it's fantastic. But I think that's a great point to end on there. So I'd like to say thank you so much, Andrew, for coming on and having a chat.
Oh, kia ora. Thank you, Reece. Appreciate it.
It's been really cool. Like I said to the viewers, if they want to go and head to the Mo space, I'll leave the link in the description below.
Yes.
But otherwise, take a little chance. Why don't you give a little plug of what's going on with you right now?
Oh, me, I've just opened a Christmas Carol at the Howk Little Theatre. It's a unique take on the Charles Dickens tale. So it has, it's from the viewpoint of Charles Dickens just writing the piece and having his family create it. So that's on for 3 weeks. And that's, if you're able to get out to Howk, go see it. It's a wonderful piece, and the team have just been absolutely amazing. And apart from that, I'm having to get on to next year, 2021, organising all that, and also ready for summer, ready for the vacation. So fingers crossed that the weather stays wonderful as it has been of late, and just get to recharge the old battery. And please, 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 let's hope that 2021 is not like this year.
Yeah. No, that all sounds brilliant. Well, cheers for catching up, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Cheers, mate. Ka kite.
See ya.
Atiwa.